All right. So we are back. So if you're watching, we are live in Calgary, Alberta at the Chamberlain Real Estate Group offices. Erin DuPont is here, and we're going to be talking today about a story about change. So let's talk about this story of change, Erin. What happened? Tell us this story. Who are these people? We want to know them. We're excited about it.
So, similar to maybe hopefully some other people who are watching us talk this morning, past clients of mine, Sue and Tom, lived in their family home for
And
a
not
long
their
time.
real names. Sue and Tom are not real people, but these are real people.
Yes. And I'm sure they can relate to many of you. Sue and Tom lived in, their family house that they raised their kids in, a large 2-story, 5-bedroom home, 4 bedrooms up.
And they've been there a long time.
They raised their kids there. Their kids are now grown. They're now, their kids have kids, so they are now grandparents.
The kids got kids.
And so they finally realized, I think, partly on their own, but partly maybe at the advice of their kids, to consider downsizing to something a little smaller, a bungalow. Maybe they're planning to get some new knees, some new hips, stuff like that. Bungalows make that easier. So, and really, there's a certain point in your life when you don't need the 5 bedrooms anymore. And living on in a bungalow just makes sense.
Totally. And I think a big part of all of this too is, as you can see in the corner over there, moving up. So we're starting a new series where we're talking about moving up and talking about how to make transitions during this time and just moving up to your next home. But I think a big part of what we also do is help individuals who are also moving down or moving across, because it's not always this moving up that's always there.
Yeah.
And Sue and Tom, they needed to make some changes, and they needed to make some big changes in their life. And a big part of that, Erin was able to really help them through that. And so why don't we talk a little bit about their past experiences? Because we were talking before, and you were saying that they've been tried to sell for a couple years.
Yeah, so
other agents.
So they had their house listed twice before, with no success. Different reasons why. And then I actually helped their good friends sell their house, and their friends called them up and said, "Hey, you have to meet with Erin. Set up an appointment, see how it goes." They met with a couple other agents. We hit it off, and they really liked everything that our brokerage, as a team, what we could do to help them. And I think I got along really well with them as well on a personal level. So we talked about how I could help them to make this new transition.
Totally. And you were saying that Tom, I don't even know their real names, actually. we're going with Tom and Sue. But you were saying that Tom was a real numbers guy. And one of the things that we really focus on when we're helping clients and understanding value of their homes is to really dig into market reports, market information. We even pull up scattergrams. We'll pull data 1,000 days back. We compile that data, put it into detailed reports, so that all of you analytic people that are out there are just drooling over this. And the emotional ones who are like, whew, that's too much, can actually understand it too, because it's visual.
Yeah.
And so it's a really great tool that we use to help you guys understand that. And I think that really resonated with them.
It completely did. So, Sue was a little bit more emotional, so her and I talked more about that side. However, Tom, he needs the data, he needs the numbers. I was able to lay it all out for him, different charts, graphs, scattergrams, and basically was able to, suggest a price that I thought they would have success at, and they did. So
very cool.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of our strategy too is when you're selling in this market. The last 2 years haven't been great, but this year is tough. Like it's a lot harder to sell, depending on the pocket that you're in. And I think some of the things that you were able to do, from coming soon, marketing that Erin did. Also with guess the price. So it's something that we used to do
Yeah.
years ago and we haven't done in a while. We brought it back to help Erin and her clients for this particular listing. And that really, really helps just bring some energy, bring some momentum to the listing prior to listing it. And so good work on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
created a lot of buzz
Yep.
about this house coming to the market. I was a huge fan. I grew up in the 80s and I loved The Price is Right. So, having the opportunity to have my friends and family and people, I'm sure some people who follow us on Facebook and on our website also participated. We did have one winner, but the
Yes.
prices.
And remember to spay and neuter your dog.
So we did a lot of extra things that generated a lot of buzz before this house
Yeah.
came live. And then 2 days after it came live, I hosted a open house there. And the buyers ended up coming into the open house and loving it. What's really interesting, they were a new couple just starting out, newlyweds.
Yep.
And it was really quite interesting and sort of pulled on your heartstrings a little bit because Sue and Tom moved into that house as newlyweds and now they're passing it along to a new family to hopefully have the same memories that they had there.
So I don't know if you caught that, but there is a great lesson when you're trying to sell your house. Think back to who you were when you bought your house, because 90%, totally made up fact, 90% of people or the buyers that are going to come and buy your property are like who you were. So you need to position things to think about who you were when you bought it and what were you thinking and what do you need. And if you position your property that way, that is the emotional pull that buyers will need to make it happen for them. So good work.
Yeah,
good
you
work.
need to identify who's your target buyer,
It's
who's
true.
your audience, and go after them.
And I think with all of that, you were talking a little bit about their expectations because they were listed with someone else for quite a while, for years.
Yeah.
They walked into this with a lot of expectations of, this is going to take forever. This is not going to last. Or not going to last. It's going to take forever. And we're just going to have to deal with showing after showing after showing. But the reality is when you price something appropriately and you do the right things, it can work if you have the right market for it. So just be aware of that because you have to have a strategy tied to everything. And that's what you did.
Yeah. So we had a very strong strategy. Sue and Tom and I, we sat down, we went through step by step, everything of how it was going to happen. I think going into it, they kind of thought their house would be on the market longer than it was. We had an offer within 3 days. It was a firm sale within 10 days of being listed. Wow. So they were beyond happy, beyond excited. They weren't looking forward to the whole process of selling. They were overwhelmed with the possibility of so many people coming in and out of their house. And by pricing it properly and doing the preparation and doing the strategy, we were able to have success right away for them. So that was amazing.
Was all after COVID started. This is all in the middle of this, right?
Yeah, this is during COVID. So, there's that added stress of people coming and going into your home. But we take such great precautions now with everybody with hand sanitizer, masks, gloves, all that stuff. COVID waivers. So we're as a industry, we're on top of it, keeping our clients safe.
It's true.
Yeah.
So despite the big win that you had with them, despite all of the things that you were able to help them with, Tom believed that it was better for him to try to go and find the next home on his own. It's hard. That's like that's hard.
Yes.
And I think with that, I think sometimes as an agent, we put a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, a lot of time into all of this. And when that happens, it hurts. That's okay. We're human. We're real people. I know it's weird. Real people. And I think with that, the good part of it is it didn't work. He didn't have enough knowledge. He didn't have enough resources to pull from to make it happen. And ultimately, him, his family, other people, whoever they were involved, kind of became frustrated.
Yes. Yeah. So I think there is, some people have this perception of, well, I want to try this on my own.
Totally.
I want to
Yeah.
see how it can
Yeah.
go. Well, it didn't go so well.
Yeah.
So immediately they contacted me and said, you know, we're having no luck. This is just not, it's not what we thought, and it's not panning out the way that we thought.
Yeah.
Please come help us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so we I was able to make some phone calls, some appointments, get more information, find out history on properties, things that they just were unable to do
Yeah.
on their own. You know, they tried and realized it was just too much for
Yeah.
them. So
Needed to figure out a different way.
yes,
Totally.
and that's where we came in.
Well, and I think the beauty of it all is when you were doing this, you actually were telling me that that you were able to bring up more options than what they thought were possible, or even didn't even consider it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of helping someone find a next place in this moving up, moving across, down, downsizing, whatever you want to call it, in making this change. It can be really exciting, but you can be kind of overwhelmed with the process. And so having someone in your corner who can kind of go, no, just go here and then go here and then go here and go here is super, super important. And so, and that was what they bought. Is that correct? It's something.
Yeah,
that you
it was
showed
something
them?
that I suggested, and
Yeah.
immediately, at first they said, no, we don't think so. And I said, let's just go see it. I think it could be a good fit. Sometimes you need, you know, that third person from the outside looking in to be able to
And just kind of
give you different
I
perspectives.
was gonna say a push.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a push. You just need a push sometimes.
Yeah.
I know I
do.
You just push people around? Is that what you do?
That's what I do.
Oh,
you
good.
know.
Good.
No,
Okay.
I'm softer than you, I guess.
Probably.
So it was a place that they thought was going to be too small for them on
Interesting.
paper. And I said, you know what, let's just go see it. I really like the idea of the floor plan. I think it could fit. They saw it, they walked in, and they immediately fell in love. It was the one. It was immediately the one for them. So that was such a win for me because I was able to suggest something that they wouldn't have even gone in to see. And it ended up being perfect for them. They had their family come and see it, who all gave, you know, everyone gave double thumbs up. They loved it and are super happy to see, you know, their mom and dad and sisters and brothers moving into that house. So.
And grandparents and Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that whenever, I don't know, for any of you who have moved, who are watching this, grandkids are like, where am I going to put the tree? That's all that matters. Where is Santa going to come in? So there you have it. This is a story about change. Thank you, Erin. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Erin's been with us and our team since the beginning of this year, 2020. Fantastic agent if you're looking at making changes like this, or moving up, or first property too. She is your gal. And so yeah, I think that's a really good story. And I think a big part of that is the thing to learn from that is don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to just kind of resource up, I think is a great term that I've heard before. And so we can be that resource for you. We've got lots of resources over the years in helping families make moves exactly like this one. And so we are happy for Tom and Sue. I almost forgot their names. I had to look. Not the real names anyways. Yeah. But we're happy for Tom and Sue. We're happy that they made a fantastic transition into their new home. And thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you. And that is what we have for you today. So have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will chat soon.
Bye, everyone.